What is up, guys? It's your boy Rick Kakis, and today we are going to be discussing a combination of gear that will take your Strand builds to the next level. Now, obviously, with the introduction of Strand into Destiny 2 within the new Lightfall expansion, everyone is trying it out, and it is extremely fun to use. Grappling around the map is something we've never seen before in the game. However, a lot of people's first impressions of Strand were very negative, so much so that Bungie actually had to release an update in the middle of the night, unlocking all of these Strand fragments and making them available to buy, whereas normally we would have to wait an entire week or longer to be able to purchase them. And with this update, and now with the full suite of Strand aspects and grenades and fragments available to us, there are definitely some powerful combos you can put together. And this combo is something you can use on Strand Titans, Warlocks, or Hunters, and will really help improve the recharge rate of your Strand grenades. So especially if you're trying to put together a build revolving around the grapple hook grenades, a lot of people have said that the recharge rates simply aren't fast enough to do what you want to do. This is meant to fix that. So the main fragment we're focusing on here is one that did get unlocked with this update, and that is Thread of Generation. And it says dealing damage generates grenade energy. Now it will give you minus 10 discipline, so you'll have to spec a little bit more to get 100 discipline that you're likely going for, but this on its own is just a great fragment. If you want to do anything involving your grenades, you should 100% put this fragment on, because just at a base level, shooting enemies gives you grenade energy, and it's all forms of damage. So using your super, presumably, is going to recharge your grenades faster. Throwing your grenades, if they deal damage, presumably will recharge your grenades faster. All of that stuff. But there's certain combinations of gear that we can pair with Thread of Generation to make the regeneration rate of your grenades just absurd. And mainly, we're looking at weapons that do a lot of damage spread over a wide area and consistently. And the main example of that, guys, is the Witherhoard. Now, the Witherhoard is going to shoot on the ground and provide a circular damaging area of effect. Anything inside takes damage, but you can also stick particular targets, and those targets will take damage over time. So you can see the result of that in the background gameplay. I'm grappling around with my hunter, I stick this boss with the Witherhoard, and now while I'm grappling, while I'm doing anything else with this build, I'm getting that constant regeneration because of the tick damage of the Witherhoard. Remember, guys, the tick damage itself and the regen itself is only one half of the puzzle. Using something like the Witherhoard, something that does damage over time, means that I can combine that damage with my other weapons. So I stick an enemy, it's ticking with the Witherhoard, I'm then shooting other enemies with my primary and doing way more damage than I otherwise would, because both of those damage sources are now combined and my grenade is recharging significantly faster. Another example of something that pulls off this exact same thing is going to be the Anarchy. Recently buffed, actually, with a 20% increase to heavy grenade launcher damage, the Anarchy is again going to be able to be stuck on bosses, bigger targets, or even just put on the ground as traps and provide that constant damage, which results in that constant regeneration. However, if you don't want to use those things, you don't want to, give up your exotic slot, another potential option here is something like the Callus Mini Tool, mainly because of that perk Incandescent. So defeating a target spreads a Scorch to those nearby. So you kill one guy, and then nearby enemies are going to be taking consistent Scorch damage. And especially if you can start killing a few guys and get a whole group of enemies scorching and burning and doing damage over time, you can really watch your grenade regen build. Because with a perk like Incandescent, you're taking what would be single target damage and spreading it to multiple different enemies, just resulting in so much overall damage dealt, which is gonna, again, with that fragment, increase your grenade regen. But that concept goes to the 10th degree with the Osteo striga. So this is an exotic submachine gun, and it is going to fire toxic projectiles that track the target, but importantly, it has the trait Toxic Overload. Landing a final blow or multiple precision hits triggers a burst that poisons nearby enemies. So actually, very similarly to Incandescent, with the Osteo striga, when you kill enemies, or again with those precision shots, you can do this to one singular bigger target like a boss. You're going to poison enemies, and those enemies are going to tick down constantly over time. So you have spread your single target damage into a massive web of continuous damage throughout a bunch of enemies, and again, that is going to make your grenades really shoot up in their recharge rate. So that by itself is absolutely a combo you guys should be looking at when running these Strand builds. Like if you're running a hunter that wants to be grappling, throw on the Osteo striga and that fragment, and you will notice significantly more grenade recharge, right? However, one of these classes actually improves on that concept massively, and it is the Warlock. Now that's because the Warlock can actually get the exotic gauntlets, the necrotic grip. Now these say damaging combatants poisons them, dealing increasing damage over time. Defeating a poisoned combatant spreads the condition. And it says provides a moderate benefit to the airborne effectiveness stat for all weapons of sorrow. Now, right off the bat, I have to say, this is written unbelievably poorly. I think it got updated, the description that is, and Bungie needs to go and change this because it actually makes no sense. Damaging combatants poisons them. Well, during my testing, I did not find that to be the case. I'm shooting this enemy with a normal SMG, it's not causing poison. If you're thinking, oh, you're not doing enough damage, I hit him with a rocket launcher, it doesn't cause poison. I hit him with it again, it doesn't cause poison. So these originally, before this description was updated poorly, they said that a melee, specifically, I think a powered melee will start the poison chain, and you can see exactly that in the background gameplay. I use my Strand melee on this enemy, and then things start to get wild. That enemy explodes with poison, hits nearby enemies. Those enemies explode with poison, hit nearby enemies, and you can see how much damage I just generated throughout all these different enemies. They're dying left, right, and center, and they're all taking that continuous tick damage because I meleeed one single guy. The necrotic grips pair specifically with the Osteo striga, because here's what happens. The Osteo striga by itself, you get a kill, it spreads the poison to nearby enemies, those enemies will tick down, they might die, but that's it. With the necrotic grips, if you kill an enemy with the Osteo striga and then nearby enemies start ticking down, if those nearby enemies die, they then have another poison explosion that spreads it to additional enemies, and the chain will keep going over and over again, and all of that continuous poison damage will be absolutely shooting your grenade regen through the roof. In fact, it's so high, you don't have to be using the grappling hook grenades. With the Warlock specifically in the background gameplay, I'm actually using the suspend grenades, which are phenomenal. Suspend is one of the most powerful things Strand can actually do. Not only that, but the Warlock itself is able to actually consume your grenades, and in the case of suspend grenades, make it so that if you kill enemies with your weapons, that causes suspending explosions, which can be really, really powerful. You can also use threadling grenades if you want in some sort of threadling minion build, because you can be chucking them out so much with this combo. However, there's actually another option. If you don't have the Osteo striga, maybe you didn't purchase the Witch Queen expansion, you can actually use the Thorn exotic hand cannon. In my opinion, it isn't quite as good, but it is going to be another weapon of sorrow that will spread that poison and work with the necrotic grips. So guys, that's it for the video. Definitely try to incorporate some of these combos into your Strand build to get that insane grenade regen. I hope you enjoyed this video, found it informative, and if you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. If you want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickCacus. That is linked in the description down below. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.